Welcome to session 6 of module 4. In this session we are going to discuss about basic scenarios of ad hoc networks and sensor networks. We also discuss about single hop versus multi-hop networks, how energy efficient is multi-hopping, and we discuss about multiple sinks if you use and multiple sources and the different sources of mobility and sink mobility. So first we will look at ad hoc networks basic scenarios. So here normally what happens is, so the machines that will communicate with other machine or the nodes that will communicate with other nodes. Nodes will talk to each other. That is the meaning. So here take this consider this example. This person. So if we want to communicate with this particular ambulance. So then there is no direct link between this sender and this particular person. So then the signal that will be transferred between there will be several nodes that are in between. So there will be several hops obviously as we have several nodes. The first signal that will be transferred from this device to this, and this pin again it will receive that particular data and it is going to forward to next node, and to the 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 destination. So this is how the ad hoc network that is going to work. So here multiple nodes are present, and those nodes or machines, they will communicate. They can able to receive as well as transmit the data. That capability is present at the particular nodes. So and this is not always that the devices are not fixed. So there is the devices that can be fixed also. So see this example, we have the access point here. So this one is fixed and all these are moving. Okay. So all the information that will be accessed through this access point, whether it may be sending or receiving. So this is another example, the communication that is happening between the satellites or the antennas. Okay. So this is about ad hoc networks. So here what happens is nodes they will talk to each other. Nodes will talk to some node in another network. So what are the application in ad hoc networks are? So we can transmit the traditional data like HTTP, FTP or collaborative apps, and we can use it for the multimedia as well, voice, video and all. So coming to the sensor networks, so we have sources as well as sinks. So sources will get the data or the measurement, and the sinks will receive it. So here in this first example, this is the source and it is the sink. So that means it is providing the data and it is receiving it. In the second example, this is the source, it is measuring or providing the data, and that data that will be processed at the sink. So the data that will be transferred to the sink. And the third example, so the sink that will be connected to the external network also, so that is the internet, and this is the measurement of the data that will be sent to the sink. So that means the sources or any entity that provides data or measurements. Sinks are nodes where information is required, and that is going to receive the particular data. Applications usually machine to machine, often limited amount of data that will be transmitted, and it depends on different notions of importance. So coming to the single hop network and multi-hop networks. So if we establish the single hop network, there is one common problem. So that problem is limited range of wireless communication. Okay. So this is especially due to limited transmission power, path loss and obstacles. So this is the major problem and the common problem. So to avoid that, we go for the multi-hop networks. As you can see here that, so if it is not multi-hop, to send, this is the sender, this is the receiver, so there is obviously there is obstacle is present. So there is a chance of sending that data to this sink is difficult as there is an obstacle. So now forget this obstacle also. So sending the data from the source to receiver, okay, so that as the distance is more, the energy required to transfer the data will be more, okay. So that is what the problem, common problem that is going to occur. So that's why the option we can go for the multi-hop networks. So here what happens is we are going to send the packets to the intermediate nodes, okay. So these intermediate nodes, that those will forward the packets to its destination. So these intermediate nodes, those will store the data and they will forward the data. So this technique that will be applies both to wireless sensor network and MANET. And store and forward multi-hopping, not the only possible solution. So we can use collaborative networking and network coding. So whether if we use the multi-hopping, whether is it energy efficient? That is the question. Actually, the multi-hopping is more energy efficient than direct communication because we can look at the path loss. Okay, so energy is required more as the distance is more. However, this is usually wrong or at least very over simplified. So we need to take constant offsets for powering transmitter, receiver into account. So because intermediate nodes, they need to receive, so then the receiver should turn on, they need to transmit, the transmitter should turn on. Okay, so that is also we need to be considered. So that's why multi-hopping for energy savings needs careful choice. Wireless sensor network, so we can see the example for multiple sinks and multiple sources. So we are not only using only one sink or only one the processing data unit, central processing. So that is in the entire network. So we are gathering the data and decide something. So that's what the sink is. And we can see in the network we can use multiple sinks as well as multiple sources. So in this first example we have, so these are all sources and we have one single sink. So if the data is present in this particular source, so data will be forwarded to this intermediate node and again to this intermediate node and to the sink. Okay, so as the path that is more and the hops are more, so to avoid that or to get the faster response, so we can use multiple sinks. Okay, so as this particular source is having the information, it will directly send to this particular sink. As this particular source is having the information, that will be sent to this particular sink or to this particular sink. So depending on the applications, you can use multiple sinks or multiple sources. The same type of example is here. So here we have 3 sinks and several sources. Different sources of mobility. So we have 3 types: node mobility, sink mobility, event mobility. Nodes can be static or can be moved. A node participating as a source or sink or a relay node that might move around. This may be due to self-propelled or by external force, targeted or at random nature. So this will happen in both WSN and MANET. So that means that nodes can move or nodes may be stationary. Next is sink mobility. In WSN, a sink that is not part of the WSN that might move. Third is event mobility. So event that is not going to occur at a particular direction or particular location only. So event may shift from one location to another location. Okay. So that means that in WSN, event that is to be observed moves around. Different WSN nodes become responsible for surveillance of such an event. So we'll see the example. So here the sink mobility. So this sink that is requesting the data from this network, and the sink that has been moved to in this particular direction. The requested data from this network, as it measures something, so that will be forwarded to the sink, which is in particularly in this particular location. The sink can move, so it will request the information and it may move to another location. So then the sources will find the suitable path and the data that will be moved to the particular sink. So here is an example, WSN event mobility, track the pink elephant. So here what is the event is the movement of the elephant. Okay, elephant is moving. So here in this first figure the elephant is present here, and there are 4 sources are present. These are measuring the data. That means that the elephant is present here. So elephant has moved in this particular path. So these particular sources, those will measure the information that the elephant is present in this particular direction. Okay. So where is the elephant? That particular source that is going to measure where the elephant is exactly the present. So the movement of the elephant is the event that is happening. As the elephant is moving from one place to another place, suitable or the appropriate or the near node